Hello, I am the gaming superhero, and today we are doing something a little different. I'm going to explain what I believe should be taken into consideration when trying to place a certain character into a specific role, such as tank, duelist, and support. To make this easy to follow, and because it just makes it easier to explain, the first thing to do is focus on the three categories that make up a character. You have personality, abilities, and fantasy. Now, this only really applies to something like Marvel Rivals, where all the characters are pre-existing, whereas Overwatch is not limited to following this criteria at all. They can just come up with a strong idea for one category and then force the other two to fit. But as for what these categories mean, personality is pretty obviously the personality of the character. If I had to rank the importance of these three categories, or how vital they are in deciding a character's role, I would probably put this at the bottom, maybe more towards the middle. Still important, but not the end-all be-all. Like Gambit. A character kit I made, I put him in Duelist, despite a few other people who, when making a kit for Gambit, said to make him a support. Now, most of the videos I saw that said this were more so just on the idea of we need more people to play support, and so put this cool character in there because he could fit well enough. But I disagree. The reason I cited for not doing that in my video was personality. His personality just really doesn't fit support. Not that he wasn't a kind person that would want to support his allies, but that his form of help in any situation is to beat the bad guy before he hurts his allies, and not help the allies after they have been hit. Add to that, his abilities don't really fit a supportive role, although you could probably just have the explosions heal allies inexplicably. This wouldn't be the first time, but without some leap in logic, and having him in another role just didn't feel right apart from Duelist. Looking at some of the characters that are in the support category that may contradict this, like Rocket Raccoon, someone a lot of people were shocked to see in the support category, despite him being so well known for shooting big guns and being aggressive. Well, in the movies and in other media, he is very much the tech guy that does quite a lot of supporting, making the gear, keeping it going. Maybe not medical support, but still fills that role and vibe for the team. So, going the extra step and giving him that healing isn't like the craziest thing. It's an ability push that doesn't go against his personality in any significant way. Loki is another one that people were confused by, given he is a backstabbing villain type that would not help anyone but himself. But that's why it's perfect. He is a villain that pulls the strings from the back and avoids direct conflict whenever he can. And he would heal heroes if there was something for him to gain out of it, such as winning the match in this case. Ultron is a bit of a special case where they kind of gave up with how DPS focused he is anyway, but there is that element of drone control, because similar to Loki, Ultron has a bit of behind the scenes planner energy, and so sending drones out to further his goal of winning is fitting. And the fact that they gave him their own unique origin of being rebooted by Iron Man to be a little nicer, not so nice to be unrecognizable as Ultron, but enough to where his drones healing isn't entirely absurd. These are the kinds of personalities that fit support, maybe not best, but well, even those that don't immediately jump out as such. Which is good, because if you just limited it to support-loving, and peaceful characters like Mantis or Luna Snow, you would run out of options super fast. I've been focusing on support a lot in this section, but I felt this would be the best role to explain how personality helps in deciding where a character goes, because it seems to be the one that's hardest to convince people a character should be in. Next is probably going to be the shortest section, abilities! How do the pre-established abilities of a character help in determining their placement? Well, some are obviously simpler than others, like Emma Frost, the character who can become an indestructible diamond, is well suited to be a tank. Or Dagger, a character known for healing through light, being in support. This is the category that separates the duelists from the tanks. because personality-wise, there isn't really a huge distinction to be made, but abilities need to be different, such as Thor, being known for his godlike durability and brawling nature, making him a perfect fit for the tank role. Captain America is probably the most head-scratching to be in the tank category, given he isn't really known for being particularly invulnerable, or big for that matter, but his high resilience and utilization of his shield make him a perfect fit for the role. That's all there really is to say about abilities. Obviously, they are core to deciding a role, and obviously more healing or defensive abilities are going to land them in support and tank respectively. And then Duelist is just a kind of jack of all trades and really isn't the hardest to fit in. It's just kind of the role. If they don't fit in the other two, they can fit well enough in Duelist. The last category is fantasy, or hero fantasy to be specific. This one is very much decided by the community, because it is the idea you have when you think of that character, or when you're told you can play as a certain hero. What do you expect to do? What playstyle would fans of the character most enjoy, or at the very least expect? The devs talk about this one a lot when they discuss hero creation, and how their main goal is to fulfill every hero's fantasy to the best of their ability. This is also the most subjective of the categories, given what one person focuses on as the ideal thing to have that character do could be different for different people. Like Rocket Raccoon, for a good example. A lot of people probably would say his hero fantasy was running around the map, ganking people, with his big guns like the rat he is, and not think of him as the tech support of the Guardians. There's also the fact of keeping everyone different and distinct from the other heroes. They need to feel different. They need to serve a different function that someone doesn't already fill. Or if they do, it needs to be in a different way. That can definitely affect how abilities are interpreted and change what part of the hero fantasy they try to fill. But hero fantasy is also how you do that effectively. Like, for instance, characters with telepathy wouldn't all necessarily have the same hero fantasy. Like, Emma feeds into tank, with both her diamond skin and strong presence. But Jean Grey would definitely have more of a duelist powerhouse type vibe. And Professor X is very much a perfect fit for support. They all have similar powers, but give different energy with how they use their powers and their personalities. And that is everything that goes into deciding the role of a character, or at least how I do it. But Rivals has yet to release a character that doesn't follow this template, so, there's something to that. There are also a lot of people who make wish lists and very much prioritize where they want the character. Like, I only play Duelist, so of course I'm going to put them all in Duelist, regardless of if it makes sense or not. And then just add the really obvious supports and tanks to those roles to not seem biased. Ooh, how clever. You made Juggernaut a tank. How daring. Obviously, these other creators didn't put that much thought into the roles, nor do they care that much. They're more interested in the character than the specifics of what they do in the game, which is fine. But now, you are armed with the knowledge and resources to call them stupid doo-doo heads when they try to put every character into Duelist. I'll even quiz you. We'll make this interactive. I'll give you 3 characters, and in the comments, tell me what role you think they should go into, taking the 3 categories into account. And, challenge yourself to make them all different roles. Don't all put them in the same role. We have Drax the Destroyer, Shuri, and Morbius. Be prepared to show your work, because with good enough justification, there really aren't a whole lot of wrong answers here. Join the Discord for more insight into how I design character concepts, or just to hang out. And you're welcome for giving YouTubers a guide to not making every character suggestion a fucking Duelist. I hate that shit.